Grab a seat, order your drink, and welcome to the brightest center in the galaxy for all things Star Wars Expanded Universe, and whatever else may blow in the door. You're listening to the Callum's Cantina podcast, and I'm your host, Callum. No matter if you're a seasoned bounty hunter of lore or just looking for a good story, you've stumbled into the right cantina. Today, we're helping out our fellow fans with what I'm calling the EU Acquisition Guide. We're going into the perspective of if you want to build your collection, flesh it out, or even replace some items that may not have withstood the test of time. So pull up a chair and let's unravel the legends.
A little bit of Star Wars ASMR there. That was quite nice, wasn't it?
And yes, joining me again are Ethan, or Jax Voss, and Jeff.
You. Hey.
Yep.
I don't actually know where you want to start with this in terms of collecting or what, but I mean, if we assume the listener has nothing, if we assume that the listener's heard of the EU and has not a scratch to their name, that's probably where we're going to start to build.
Yeah, and I was thinking to talk about if we want to separate digital and physical.
Yeah.
So that we go, if you want to find stuff digitally, there's some options which are probably easier, and though some not as legal.
When it comes to games in particular, it's much easier to collect certain items in digital format as opposed to physical nowadays. And honestly, I've actually talked to more people.
Oh no! As soon as the recording started, you started lagging again.
Of course. Of course.
Come on.
Oh man, this is funny. So fewer and fewer people are using even gaming consoles nowadays. I've noticed more people are using computer gaming. Like, it's more common to do computer gaming now. PC gaming is like on the rise, and I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Like, and I think it's because modern computers can do so much now.
Yeah.
And they can handle a lot.
And there's a huge catalog of older games that will run on whatever computer you have pretty well.
That's true.
That's one of the points, because I mean, I've always been a PlayStation fan. I've got a PS5 and I just use it as a 4K and a Blu-ray player, and that's it. That's all I use. I don't really have to play games on it.
That is pretty much what we use our PS4 for.
I guess we're starting with some of the video games. I guess some of the harder to find ones are some of the ones like legally. The way I got the Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith game is by adding money to my PlayStation Store wallet and then going onto the PlayStation 3 store, which is different to the PlayStation 4 store, and purchasing it on there.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Hey, if it works.
But they do have a lot more of the PS2 era games that you can get digitally on the PlayStation Store if you've got a PlayStation console, which is good for that.
Yeah, you do have to find it. Oh man, I considered briefly getting Lego Star Wars: The Complete Saga on hello Kitty on my PS4, and it was going to cost me over $100. I was like,
oh wow,
like, what? I can get this game really cheap on Steam, and I can mod the crap out of it.
That's probably one of the.
So I chose
points,
that.
One of the first points I'd point out actually is if you are going to try and buy them digitally, both Steam and GOG, because I use GOG for a lot of games too, just because they're DRM free and so on and so forth. They both recently had May the 4th sales. And a lot of titles like 75% off. Yeah. And so if you wait for those kind of sales, you can just buy the whole thing as a bundle quite affordably. So,
and I do like GOG because I can also download the offline installers, have them backed up on a hard drive. So if anything ever happens to it, then you still have the game that you could play.
Yeah, it's a whole different conversation, but Steam games you don't necessarily ever actually own. If Steam went down tomorrow, you don't have your library. Whereas, as you said, with GOG, you just download the offline installers and away you go.
Which is this kind of middle area of preservation. If you preserve things digitally, then you'd still have
I mean, there is an aspect of you can download the game onto your computer, and you can transfer that to your next computer. But if you lose Steam, you lose the whole thing.
Yeah. And I think you can set it in offline mode, but that'll only work up to a certain point where it wants to verify your account and that.
Yeah. And the other thing is too, with some old games, some features are busted. Like I really want to play Galactic Battlegrounds with my partner, but because she loves those kind of games as well. But there was a certain matchmaking software, I forget what it was, that obviously existed and those servers once existed. And now when you go to play, even if you go to play it as a LAN game, it still wants to handshake with those servers that no longer exist, so you can't actually get it up and running. There are mods. People have worked their way around. There are mods to fix that, but again, that involves a bit more fiddling.
But on less of the mods, that's a bonus of the Steam versions of some games, like the OG Battlefront games have Steam servers now supported by Steam.
Yeah.
And that kind of thing.
Yeah, so you just got to remember that, bear in mind. But yeah, so that digitally obviously is relatively easy, and if you wait for certain times of the year when there's sales, it's also quite affordable. Physically is a bit harder. You know, I bought a lot of these games at the time, so that helps. Thrift shopping, I guess, is always a good way to randomly pop up with titles, but of course you never know what you're going to find. That's a good way to pop up with titles.
I guess thrift shopping would also apply to a lot of the books and comics as well.
Yeah, that's probably something we'd revisit there as well. And the other one I do is also like collectible fairs, depending on where you live. I don't know how accessible that'd be to everyone who's listening, or indeed to you two. But I go to a lot of collectible fairs, which is just like halls or several halls full of people selling secondhand collectibles of all sorts, not just Star Wars. And you can get a lot of good deals there as well. So you can still find them. eBay is probably that last bastion of hope, just because eBay fees tend to artificially jack prices up, but you can try that.
Gosh,
eBay, that's really for books. If we're looking online, I'd probably add in AB Books has been really good for me to be able to complete my collection. They've been able to find really good low prices on some of the more obscure things.
Thrift Books is a similar website as well, which I don't know if it's related to AB Books because it certainly feels the same. I'm sure you're going to drop those links below, by the way, Cal, for the people, so they know.
Yeah, I should.
But no, both those sites have been very helpful for me as well to find a few harder to get bits and pieces.
But if for whatever reason you're listening on like Spotify or Apple Podcasts, which you don't have access to the links, then AB Books is literally abebooks.com.
Yep. And then Thrift Books is thriftbooks.com.
Ooh.
But no,
everyone knows eBay, I'm pretty sure.
eBay. Obviously, Facebook Marketplace is another one.
eBay and Amazon, you can get quite a lot. I was surprised at how many old EU books I was able to find on Amazon. I was like, oh wow. I got Union, just to add in comics a little bit here. I got Union off of Amazon. I was shocked when I found it. I was like, oh, it's available.
I kind of put comics with books when I say books, so that makes sense.
I'm just emphasizing for the people who might
and
not
for clarity for
think about
people,
them that way.
When I said books, I'm like, oh yeah, I did mean that in my head, but I didn't say it out loud.
The only thing is, though, is if we are to deep dive on some of these things, games is probably not a huge thing. So I know there's some other titles that aren't Star Wars. Sometimes when you go and buy them in retrospect, like Mafia is a game that comes to mind. Any recent releases of Mafia that you buy online don't actually have the soundtracks anymore because the licensing to the soundtrack ran out. So you actually buy the game without the music. And that hasn't happened with a Star Wars title as far as I know, but you've probably got to bear in mind that as time goes on, some elements of the game might change. Some of them are re-releases. Like Bounty Hunter, Dark Forces, I think got one, and
Bounty Hunter's an odd one because it's literally got the same title, but there is the remaster version and then the original version as well.
So there's those kind of things to look out for.
Well, you can still get the original Battlefronts 1 and 2. That's where I got my Battlefront games. Well, I got Battlefront 2. I don't think I got 1 because I didn't like. Because I when I was a teenager, I played Battlefront, and I was like, I don't care much for this one, and I'd heard Battlefront 2 was much better. The mechanics were better, and so when I got it, I played that, and I was like, "Oh, I like this better." But I'm stuck
Battlefront
on the
2
Order
on the
66, the
PlayStation 2.
Jedi Temple attack.
Yeah, I have played Battlefront 2 on the PlayStation 2. That's the one I played most, and it is a different version. Which is another thing
it is
I
a
guess
little
to bring up
different.
is there are various different versions for some games, especially something like The Force Unleashed.
Yeah, there are two distinct versions.
And then you also have a DS version. And the Wii version is similar to the PS2 version. That's the one that got the Nintendo Switch port. But then also has a
Wii
dueling
and
mode.
the they're wait, which one has a dueling mode?
The Wii version.
Yeah, there's a dueling version. Dueling versions are available on the Wii and the PSP, which I thought was weird. But yeah, I was like, really? There's a dueling version? I had a friend who had it, and they're like, yeah, you can play, like, you just hook up to another PSP and you can fight. I was like, okay.
And I'm going to assume too, because see, I mean, as I said before, I bought most of these things physically and just held my physical copies. But I'm assuming with digital, you probably also got to look out for whether you're buying a version that has all the DLC or not, because a lot of these games did have some really good DLC added on later. That the releases you buy might not have.
Yeah, like using The Force Unleashed as an
you do have to
example
watch for that.
again. The Ultimate Sith Edition of The Force Unleashed is on Steam, and that has all the DLC.
Which is the version I have.
Which
I still haven't beaten the
version,
games to get that.
PS2 version, and that one's been ported to the Switch. Doesn't have the DLC with the alternate storyline at the end of it.
Right, yeah. So this is something that's going to bleed across no matter what aspect of Star Wars collecting we're talking about, is that whether it's comics, novels, Lego probably not so much, but certainly figures and micro machines and cards.
And some of
there are still different versions of things that you can buy that may or may not be the complete version. So
which is the main thing I'm thinking with the books is get the versions with the short stories in the backs of them.
Yeah.
Which
that's
is
very important.
a big difference compared to the other printings of some of them.
Well, sometimes it's Shadowhunter had one, didn't it? Shadowhunter had a short story that was added to the paperback version, I think it was.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, and so if you don't buy that particular version of Shadowhunter, then you don't get that short story, and you can't actually purchase that short story anywhere else as a separate entity. So
you can really only find it online or in that version of the book.
Yeah, I don't think this is.
I'm trying to remember if that was included in the Essential Legends collection version.
Yeah, so we can also talk about reprints, because I think in this day and age it'd be very difficult to build a collection of the books and comics without getting some of the reprints.
Oh yeah,
it's very hard nowadays.
At the very least, it'd be more cost effective. Like some of the ones, like the particular comic you're holding book that you're holding up there, Cal, probably not that hard to find affordably online later, but there are some editions, like particularly some of the last EU books, like Kenobi or Plagueis or whatever. Trying to get them without the Legends banner across the top is very unaffordable.
Yeah, I think it was, especially like I was thinking of Honor Among Thieves as well there, where they only had like a hardcover printing, and then immediately afterwards their paperbacks are printed with the Legends banner on it.
Yeah.
Which is something, if you don't want the Legends banner on it, you will have a harder time with your collection.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Which again, for most people, it's neither here nor there. As long as you've got the stories, is the main part. I mean,
yeah,
right.
And
that's probably the important bit. Yeah, and then again, too, it does come down to availability. Like we've pointed out before, that some of the adult novels, by and large, are quite obtainable. Young reader books, some of the young reader books are getting a bit difficult.
I think the hardest ones I found to find were the Episode 1 Adventures novels.
Yeah, well, as I said, because those were mail-away ones, because I had to send for those in the post, and they'd rock up. I don't think they were ever available on bookstore shelves.
Yeah,
which is probably why they're so rare. Yeah.
You might find them at like some resale stores and whatnot. Like half price books, which is what we have out here for our primary book resellers. I mean, you can find anything at thrift stores, obviously.
Yeah.
I actually got a couple of books from half price books when we had an outlet store, which is even cheaper.
Yeah.
Nice.
When I moved up to Darwin, I didn't really have much around me, so a lot of it was online that I had to look for things. I think the treasure trove I found is a shop up there that got a whole heap of the old Western Games RPG stuff.
Which was the next thing I was going to say in terms of rarity. Like, obviously, paperback novels are the main adult novels, easy. Younger editions, not so easy. The old Western game stuff, unless you're Callum, you stumble across a shop that's got a whole bunch of old stock. Holy doolies, that gets rare and expensive. Like,
which I'm pretty happy to say this because for whatever reason, the digital rights to sell the PDFs of the versions of the games for the RPG is lumped with the video game rights. So I have downloaded PDFs of them separately. I think I even scanned one of the Fantasy Flight Games ones in that I couldn't find a PDF of. So that's everything.
Because there's also some, and again, you'd be getting very completionist at this point.
Yeah.
But there are also some like kids' books, some of the younger read ones that they made in the 70s and 80s, which have never ever received a reprint ever again, which is the other problem that you might face is more obscure older titles never got a second whack at it. They were published once and that was it.
Yeah.
That makes life
I
hard
will
for
say
collectors.
Splinter of the Mind's Eye, very hard to come across. I got really lucky. I found the entire thing in the entire comic. Thing in individual issues. I got the entire story. And I was shocked, and they were selling it for very cheap. And I was at a Comic-Con, so you can find some stuff there.
Oh yeah, I didn't know that was one of the harder titles to find. It's interesting.
It is.
I think I got some of that in the stack.
At least the comic,
parents found,
and no one's really doing reprints of it. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So that's the ongoing issue.
We do have the Epic Legends collections for the comics, but even those, I found it difficult to actually find they've actually reprinted them.
Yeah,
because I've been looking for because I don't have much of the Old Republic era, so I'm like, okay, I'll get one of the volumes for Old Republic that I saw in the shop. What about the other volumes? Because that wasn't the full one, and unavailable, out of print already, even though they're reprints.
Yeah, they keep doing them in like limited runs. That's the problem.
Yeah, but I'm still wondering if they actually include all the stories because that's been a problem that's just plagued. I think comics in general, not just Star Wars comics, but I think it's just plagued comics in general since the year dot. For some reason, every time they go and reprint, something inevitably gets lost or misplaced and doesn't get reprinted. So,
yeah, I'd have to compare.
I mean, the legacy ones, they were very good with keeping, which are the only ones that I have the entirety of. And I have the beginning. I have the prequel period of the Tales of the Jedi stuff. So the Oden storyline, and I went through. They didn't cut any of the comics out.
When I've been looking at what they include, they seem to be fairly complete, which is good. And like the Old Republic one I did get does have some of the extra articles and stuff that was in the back of the single issues as well.
Yeah. But Dark Horse weren't the best of that. Like, I mean, I put these here because I thought we might be discussing later. Well, actually, I'll say it now real quick. When you are collecting comics, it gets very confusing very quickly. Like, most comics were released as a single issue at first. Not all. We were just talking about the Force Unleashed. Force Unleashed was only released as a trade paperback, as far as I know.
Yeah.
And then there was a standalone, which by the way is now like $38,000 on eBay at the moment. There was one standalone Force Unleashed comic that came in special versions of the game, but that's a whole different ballgame. But yeah, so they'd usually come as a single issue first. So that's a little floppy for anyone who's watching this on YouTube. It's a little floppy. That's what they'd come as at first.
Yeah.
Then they'd
Spotify has video as well.
Paperback. Oh, Spotify! Look at that. Hello, everyone on Spotify. Yeah. Then they'd bring out a trade paperback, which inevitably was like 4 or 5 of these packed into one issue, and then later on they'd do omnibus collections. So you end up with that kind of, which was well, this is where
basically
it gets
2 or 3 of the others.
Yeah, and this is where it gets
together.
really silly. So Shadows of the Empire was obviously released. Shadows of the Evolution was obviously released. And then there was Shadow Stalker, which was like a little spin-off. For some odd reason, when they went reprinted the omnibus, Shadow Stalker got missed. So Shadow Stalker, which was this one-off, never gets seen again. And then curiously, the omnibus includes Shadows of the Empire. That's good. Shadows of the Empire omnibus contains Shadows of the Empire. You gotta want that.
Yeah.
Shadows of the Empire Evolution, again, good. And Mara Jade by the Emperor's Hand. So it doesn't include Shadow Stalker, which was a tie-in comic to that series and that series alone. But it does include a Mara Jade one-off.
Okay, so for some reason that's in Early Victories, Shadow Stalker.
Yeah, and it's like, why have they gone and like spliced that up? And so, yeah, a lot of these things, when you're trying to collect them later, you've really got to look at what's contained in where and try and make your own determination as to what the best version of something is to buy. Because you could buy that and think, I've got all the Shadows of the Empire stuff ever created now.
Yeah.
No, you don't.
It's something you'd have to double check what version of
I have the
you're getting.
I think I have the volume 2 omnibus of the original Marvel run. And then which contains a lot of the Lumaya stuff, which is what I was looking for anyway. When I found that. I love Lumia. She's one of my favorite characters, and I think she gets underutilized both in the comics and in Legacy of the Force.
Yep.
Truly, I feel like she deserved more activity as a character. She was actually a really good character. I think they did her a disservice. But anyway, that's a story for another time. Yeah, when you're collecting, when you're trying to build your collection, it takes a lot of time, and
a lot of money because there's so much stuff.
Yeah, it is a lot of money. You do have to budget the crap out of everything. Yeah, I will say when it comes to like toys and stuff, it's much harder to find EU-related stuff. It is so hard, especially.
Well, it's not. I was going to say it's not from them not making it, because the EU's been representing for decades in toy lines. It's just, as you're probably about to point out, the rarity of finding it on the second-hand market or having it affordable. Because goodness gracious, the affordability is ludicrous.
Yeah, well, because even the stuff that's coming out now, like, because we've got.
I was mentioning it to a group chat earlier. Kyle Katarn.
Yeah,
was $45.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's $27 in the US. And I think when I looked at the currency converter, that's $37.90 Australian dollars.
I don't even look anymore.
And this was 45 Australian dollars.
Well, they're also releasing like 6 EU figures this year, so my wallet's going to be
and here's the thing, like, the difference between the US and Australian dollar is not that much.
They added extra on for shipping and stuff, for sure.
Yeah, they must have, because that's crazy. Like, yeah, well, Lego stuff is probably cheaper in Denmark. So
yeah, that's true.
Now that I'm thinking about it, it's like, well, we probably are all paying similar
going on
pricing because we're being shipped across the world. Right?
God.
Yeah, we'll meet you. We'll see you guys over there.
Oh, God, absolutely. I'm going to pack my bags right now.
We all just fly over.
Oh, yeah.
And then have to pay the extra baggage for whatever you bring back is probably still going to be cheaper than whatever import tax.
Probably true, actually. Yeah. But yeah.
So yeah, what was I going to say?
Yeah,
If you're looking for a place, if you're focused on stories, so for me, I was a lot more focused on actually wanting to physically collect the stories. I'm going to do another shameless plug.
Here we go.
No, I was briefly bringing up toys and whatnot just to kind of address that.
But like,
So
toys and stuff is good to go into. But I was thinking before we go too far into it, if you're looking for a list of each piece of material,
it's a shameless plug.
Ta-da! Callum'sCantina.com
Shameless plug time.
has my definitive Star Wars Expanding Universe timeline. Which
yes,
I stopped bothering to put some of the newer reprinting because they've just reprinted omnibuses but put a different cover and name on it slightly.
Yeah,
but I put a lot of
up
to a certain point. I've got what was I've got them listed with every piece of story material that I'm aware of. And with what they were collected in up to the end of the Legends Epic collections, honestly, because I stopped going. Onto more
it's one of
that.
Because the thing with the comics as well, and you briefly touched on before, the original Marvel comics as well, they're ones that to get them in their initial release form is quite difficult because all the reprints, like Dark Horse did a reprint of a lot of them later, and either the color grading was off, or in the case of the newspaper shorts, because they used to do like newspaper Star Wars comics as well. They completely redid just everything about them, the way the panels were placed, and just did a massive amount of editing. So to get them in their original form, I think they did these big format newspaper books at one point, and that's like the only way to get them in their original form. So even if you've discovered, oh, this story exists in this book, so that's where I'm going to get it, then you've still got to say, oh, but is that going to be the original?
Yeah, and is
it just
that
makes
actually
things really
feasible?
difficult.
Can you actually find that?
Yeah, well,
there's that as well. But I will say this: I mean, it's if the image is not exact, it's not the end of the world when it comes to
definitely
comics.
not.
Yeah. It's just it'd be nice if it was.
Yeah. Well, there's the other thing too, is occasionally, very rarely, the story itself will be changed. Callum and I spoke about this one before, where what was it? It's the Cody Sunchild, whatever his was. There was like a couple of stories around him with Lando, and they actually changed the entire last panel. Like the panel, the art stayed the same. They just completely edited the speech boxes because the original author wanted to have a bit of a pacifist sort of ending, or the idea of like trying to go for peace or whatever. And that's how it was originally published. And then someone at Lucasfilm turned around and said, yeah, it's literally Star Wars. We're not really interested in this peaceful kind of thing. So they actually kind of changed the ending, and the author went, well, don't put me in the credits, and walked off. So he's uncredited in the reprints that came after. And
so
they've
that's
changed
the
the writing.
issue 46 of the classic Marvel run.
That's kind of funny because like that they had that view, because even George like intentionally puts semi-pacifistic characters into the movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was just checking the Wikipedia page, which grain of salt, but usually some of this stuff's correct. The story's writer J.M. DeMatteis originally had Lando Calrissian accept Cody Sunchild's pacifist views, but Lucasfilm overruled him and had Marvel Comics change the ending so that Lando decried the views as wrong. The writer strongly disagreed with the change and had his name taken off the project, choosing instead the pseudonym Wally Lumbago. The unedited version.
Wally Lumbago.
Here we go. The unedited version was published in issue number 141 of Marvel UK. And it's later reprint in Empire Strikes Back Annual number 2 on Dark Horse Collections is of the US version.
Yeah, so there's things like that as well, and you could deep dive all day, but sometimes reprints change the way the panels are oriented, or in this case, change entire pages of text. So, so there's that. There's that to consider.
Yeah, that's a good example of it.
And we've covered it before too, Cal, with your with the Old Republic comics, how the single issues were the only ones to have that breakdown at the end, whatever that was called. I can't remember what it was called now. Like
yeah.
To go Star Trek, I'll call it the Captain's Log. It definitely wasn't.
Yeah, I mean that's where the reprints have helped actually have them. Yeah, they'll be in here. Hang on. They're all the.
Yeah, while he's looking for that, because again, sometimes a single issue.
The stuff like the Admiral's List.
Yeah, that was that.
Oh yeah,
and
the Admiral's
I think
List. Yeah, that's
also
actually
the Taris Hollow feed. Yeah, that's the other one.
And they're things that wouldn't necessarily be in reprints going forward. So good luck, everybody.
Well, and that's the nice thing that they did include some of them in the Epic collection. Not, I don't think they included all of them, but they included some.
Yeah, I haven't gone through and checked if they did it.
I need to go through the legacy ones and see it.
Legacy. When I was
read the ones that have them.
I was reading the single issue digital copies of Legacy that I have, and they had the cool concept arts and everything in the back as well.
Yeah, and the other thing too, which doesn't have any impact on the storyline, but particularly with some of the later, the last EU comics to go out, was letters to the editor. Now, letters to the editor was quite commonplace for a lot of comics throughout the years. Obviously, they've never been in reprints, but some of the last ones, like some of the last Legacy ones, the discussions were all about the fact that Lucasfilm's just been bought by Disney. What does that mean for the comic's future? And quite often the editor just saying, look, we don't know, but we're going to continue these stories. And there's currently no plans to discontinue the EU. And a lot of fans going, oh, good, that's great. So some of the discussions that were in those letters to the editor, in retrospect, are quite interesting to read, but obviously they don't give anything to the storylines or anything like that.
Yeah, it's if you're interested in some of the behind-the-scenes stuff.
Yeah, it does shines a lot of light on it. So, which again weren't in the trade paperbacks. So, meh.
We should get a compilation of images of just letters to the editors from all the comics. That'd be a good project.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've got them all here somewhere, so I can just spend all day scanning them and one day put them up.
There
That's
we
all
go.
right.
Make sure that we know which ones they're from and all good.
Yeah. Oh, that's it. But I did bring some of the comic thing. What have I got there? Oh god, getting old there. I just pulled one randomly out of a box, but that's it's a bit older, that one.
Yeah.
I think it was one of the Tales of the Jedi ones, was one of the letters to the editors where they say, no, the background for the Sith actually came from George Lucas and all that too.
Yeah.
So it's a great place to get some of that information.
They did that.
Well, see, I mean, one thing I can bring up right now actually is comparatively, because I do have these in later reprints, the color grading in the originals, particularly for these, was god awful.
Yeah.
So you've got that problem that it all looks quite faded and smoky, which I don't know if that's a restriction of the original printers
the
or what.
The holocron's mucking up when you're viewing the story.
Right.
Yeah, that's what that is. But no, all these kind of fun bits. So where you do get all the letters to the editor and special bits of information that you wouldn't usually get. So that made them fun
for sure.
Yeah. Oh well, we'll pop that back because I thought that was my legacy box. The legacy box is slightly under that pile, and I'm not reaching for that right now. Oh look, I could, but
I've got some of the legacy
don't bother
issues, but mostly I've got the trade paperbacks for legacy, so I don't have them physically with the extra bits and bobs in the end.
For some reason, one reason or another, legacy is one of those comics that I see a lot more as trade paperbacks. So I wouldn't really recommend anybody buys them as single issues because
they're probably so hard to track down, and you'll probably pay like $100 for a single issue or something.
Yeah, which that's not worth it. Not when a trade paperback's probably like $40 or something at the moment. So I wouldn't be doing that.
Yeah,
wouldn't be doing that at all. Don't buy that one as I go through the box. I love the EU. I love most of the EU. That's probably one of the only releases where I went through it and thought, what? For anyone, by the way, who's not watching us on a visual medium, that's Tales from Mos Eisley from Dark Horse, which is a couple of tales of characters that has no real connection to anything else in the Star Wars universe.
Yeah,
and breaks canon a couple of times. So,
I mean, that's all of the Tales books and comics.
Well,
they just
Oh no, but this
just kind of
predates the. I'll still die on this hill. Some of the Tales comics were canonical. I'm dying on that hill, damn it!
I'm not saying none of them are.
We know,
I'm just saying most of
especially
them.
from issue 21 of Tales, they are, because they specifically talk about that. I think otherwise, for what the thing I've come to is, they didn't care if they were out of continuity, but some of the authors just ended up writing them and they fit anyway.
Ooh.
Like,
That's what I found.
Ooh, Splinter of the Mind's Eye.
Found it. Yeah. Yeah, no, I was going to try and pull out one of the legacy ones. And, you know, maybe I will. It'll take me 2 seconds. I'll pull out one of the legacy ones and show you guys what I mean. But yeah, effectively, though, when it does come to collecting comics, apart from the fact that it's a very expensive hobby, yeah, try and get them, I guess, in the most affordable way possible, because you could probably lose your entire fortune buying single issues like this. You'll lose your minds. Don't do it.
Yeah, you will for sure.
Yeah.
I have found another good place to get some digital copies of things have been on Google Play Books, because especially I've got some of the newer unabridged audio books on there, and I could actually download the files for them, not just they're only on there. So I think that's a benefit to that platform. As well as if you have ebooks that you have as your own files, you can upload them to Google Play Books and read them on there as well.
Which is nice. Yeah, I know where they are. But everyone knows what I mean. We've all seen Letters of the Editor before. I mean, we probably should do. Well, I don't know. Maybe I should do my own channel at some point. But
that's just talked about for years.
I know, but well, see, I don't have to. You two are doing it for me, so I can just come along. And
I mean, we just pull you in, and
and then I don't have to do any of the editing, so it works out brilliantly.
Yeah,
that is fair. That is fair.
But then also with comics, there were also some other ones. So there was Free Comic Book Day, which is an event where you can just get free comic books from your local store. They would do special reprintings for those, and some of them are original stories. So, you know, there's that to try and consider. And then some of the toys. So the Shadows of the Empire line was one of them that came with obviously there's comic packs. So there's these kind of things, which you get 2 figures and a comic. But that comic in there, apart from not having the numbered version, again for people who aren't on a visual platform, this is just one of those comic packs, 2 figures and a comic in one package. That's not an exclusive story though. But like Shadows of the Empire would had a couple of releases that had different versions.
They had a couple of specials that when I read them, they had unique cover art, and that cover art's amazing. But they told snippets from the main comic run, and I noticed that that's the same as what's in the comic run, but they kind of just cut it shorter.
Yeah.
And there were some toy lines as well, and for the life of me, I can't remember what toys they were. I've got the comics. The thing is that the comics are much smaller. They look like a Dark Horse comic. They're just small.
Yeah.
And someone who's watching right now is just screaming at me what they were. They were like a transforming toy. And it wasn't, unless it was a Transformers line. You know what? I'm going to go look for that. You guys shut up and yourself.
So, if someone wants to join Discord or drop a comment, I could link RPG materials. I don't feel bad about sharing those when there's no legal way to actually purchase the digital copies.
That is true. That is true.
And if they somehow now suddenly offer copies to purchase, thank you.
Well, and here's the thing as well. When it comes to the RPG stuff, I know Joe Bongiorno is a little controversial, but his website does have access to certain short stories that are harder to find. So
it's a good resource for some of those things. That's StarWarsTimeline.net. You can find a bunch of stuff on that website as well. Back to my website, I've been a little bit hesitant with how much I share on there. Like, I've got a link to the RPG materials on there through the Star Wars EU resources page.
Yeah,
well, I've been wary a little bit of
links in
copyright and things with that.
Yeah,
and again,
I'd say put links
sharing
into
short stories as
the descriptions,
articles on my website, apart from when I got busy, and then it's fallen on the wayside a bit. And that's how I've done that one.
So to say with those comics, and again, this is only for people who are on the visual release of this show. So that's a regular comic book size, and then Dark Horse released these much smaller ones. I say much smaller; they're probably like, I don't know, 3/4 the size. But they were special. They were special editions that only got released with the toys. So I'm cracking the seal.
So you haven't really looked if all of the comics are actually available to purchase somewhere digitally either.
So the thing with these ones,
you can find a lot of them digitally.
Yeah, no, you can find a lot of them.
I don't think you can get all of them though.
I've usually looked for alternative sources.
But this one was particularly crazy.
We're not going to talk about those too much.
No.
Because the toy came with a special mode that was not necessarily canonical, and so Obi-Wan Starfighter like transforms mid-battle and stuff.
Oh yeah.
So these rather cute little comics, I don't know if they ever got reprinted, and Cal's probably about to tell me, but they were at the time supposed to be a Toys R Us exclusive. I know that's a bit fuzzy.
That one's full of surprises.
Oh, I'll tell you what, isn't it just? Yeah.
Collected in Star Wars Omnibus Menace Revealed and Legends Epic Collection, The Menace Revealed Volume 4.
It did get a... Okay, see, I actually didn't realize that they ever reprinted them, so that's kind of nice in a way.
Yeah, it is nice. So that's one of the Marvel reprints and one of the Dark Horse reprints.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, it will take people a lot of time, and if they do want to, I could probably try and script together a proper breakdown of comic collecting for Star Wars, because it's a multifaceted beast.
Yeah, there's gonna be a lot more time than we can really take with the podcast episode to really deep dive into the specific areas.
Yeah. Well, like, I mean, I've got quite a lot of boxes that are just,
And hey, if people show interest, then we can deep dive a bit more for sure.
Look, I'll definitely do it, because there's even ones like this one, which and this will be the last of the show and tell, but that is not Star Wars.
That's RoboCop.
That's RoboCop. But then, oddly enough, despite it being RoboCop, in the back of it there was actually a Star Wars story. So
I can see a Star Wars thing on the back cover.
Yeah,
interesting.
So for anyone who might remember,
Huh.
So
that's an interesting panel to choose to show from a comic. With
the weird thing is, I know exactly what that's from.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So it was one of those Dark Horse releases that had a whole bunch of different short stories, including obviously Knights of the Old Republic in this case, or Tales from the Jedi in this case. So yeah. Oh, that's actually had a different color grading too, which again is something I'll get into, but the colors are totally different for one of the comic releases. So
I guess it depends if you're too fussy about the color grading on comics or
or even if you show an interest, because some of it's.
But it is interesting to see.
Well, it's always interested me, because quite often it's just means you've got something halfway through the editing process where they've looked at the final result and gone, it's not the feel we were going for. We want something a bit darker or grittier, and so they've actually changed how it looks. And but it's always fun to see that kind of thing behind the scenes. I have no idea where this one slots into the box. No, let's stay out of the box now. Yeah. But no, comics, really, really difficult one. And I would say don't get caught spending unnecessary amounts of money on silly things like these ones. I know for a fact this is the Thrawn trilogy as a hardback.
Yeah.
And I know full well that particular comic now sells. Empire was the same. Both of those as a hardback comic. Considering you can get them for like a fifth of the price as individual comic books, there's no point going the hardcovers unless again you're a real
paperbacks.
Unless you're a real completionist. Don't go spending more than you have to. Don't go running yourself broke. As Cal's pointed out, end of the day, you can get these things digitally in a lot of places, and that's very affordable. That's good.
A lot more affordable, and I've found that I like getting them in the ones where I can download them, so you get that middle school of preservation as well, a bit like getting the video games on GOG, where you have them and you can copy them to your hard drive, whatever. Rather than
we're no way affiliated.
And I think there was some music that was on Google Play Music that I still haven't gotten on my computer. But it's a good lesson.
I found the one with the wild color grading, by the way. That particular one. That was yeah. That's for another time when we do a deep dive into comics.
Yeah.
But no, so I guess comics is not much else to touch on there. It's find the areas that you're interested in, and keep it affordable. Like, or keep it within your budget. If
within your
end of the
budget,
day.
and that's where I've liked getting the digital versions first because there was a lot more affordable, and then I could pick where I want to read from, and then go. Well, with some things, I just read the digital version, and if I like it, I get a physical copy. And some things I read and go, well, that wasn't worth it. I'm not going to get the physical copy of it.
Yeah, which I probably would have done with Mos Eisley, but anyway, there we go. Hey,
at least I have the complete collection.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. If you're going to be complete, and you can't just say to someone, "Oh, I have every single comic ever made up to 2014 except this one."
I think I'm just missing some of the TCW movie adaptations from the young reader novels.
Yeah, not that you're missing much. But,
yes. And I'm like, well, do I really care? Probably not.
Yeah.
No.
But yeah, I'll just to bring it back to the books and the young reader novels in particular.
Yeah.
It is very difficult to find them. Even online, they are very expensive.
Oh yeah.
I tried to get the Jedi Prince, and like it's like what 6 books, and it's so expensive. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And even some
it's
of
also
them,
very
like
hard
Young
to
Jedi
get
Knights
individual books.
have some omnibuses, thinking about omnibuses and things like that. Like Under the Black Sun is the one I found for some of the Young Jedi Knights books. But you can see the condition of it. This is the copy I can find secondhand.
Well, see, and then the other funny thing is too is sometimes with those hardcover omnibuses, it's actually cheaper to buy them as individual books.
Yeah,
for some odd reason people charge an arm and a leg for it. So
yeah,
there is that issue as well. And particularly with young reader books is just finding them in good nick because they're owned by kids. Like my Star Wars books as a kid came to school with me in school bags. I got knocked around in the playground and got a banana on them. Like they're in horrible condition. So trying to find
have a
these
specific
things...
memory of the banana going on the book.
Oh, definitely. Look, I mean, I love bananas, and you put them in a school bag, and they just get squashed so fast. And for some odd reason, I never thought to maybe not squish the bananas. It's a thing. That's my school my school memory. The sense peanut butter and bananas.
Nice.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And they not allowed to have
a
peanut
bunch
butter
of the young reader ones have not been reprinted as well. They seem to be focusing on reprinting a bunch of the adult novels, but then young reader ones are left on the side and never reprinted, like the aforementioned Young Jedi Knights. Although randomly, Rebel Force was reprinted at one point.
How that happened, I have no idea. No idea.
That's the only one I've seen that's actually been reprinted.
That's and it's not even like that's a very random one to reprint.
Yeah. And of course, with a lot of these series, they run into the same issue that again isn't just a Star Wars thing. It's pretty much every franchise known to man. Is that the first issues? So the first, say, books 1, 2, and 3, for instance, of any given series, are plentiful. They printed a lot of people bought them. They're still out there in the public domain, and they're quite cheap. But then you'll find that like 5, 6, 7 is when the publishers started to work out how many copies vaguely they were selling, or people's interest started to drop off, and they didn't print as much. And that's why with things like the Jedi Apprentice, for instance, you can buy the first 5, 6 books for like $2. They're just lying around. To get the last books in that series, by that point they were publishing them in such small numbers, and the people who were still buying them at that point were avid collectors that don't want to part with their collection. And so you'll find, as someone who's trying to buy them now, that you'll get the first few books, no worries. Then the last ones, a single book is like $40, $50, $60, $70. And why is this a thing? But it was just a publishing glitch, I guess. That's just how they were published. Or certain characters is the other one. There's some people that, for instance, only collect Darth Maul or only collect Boba Fett as two obvious examples. And so if you're trying to buy those Scholastics, the adventure books, people really want to get the one that's Darth Maul, which I think was number 4. So number 4 is quite expensive, and the ones on either side of it are, again, affordable. Yeah. So you run into those issues all the time. But I guess that's the perks of being a Star Wars collection, no?
Probably number 4, I think.
Number 3 was The Fury of Darth Maul.
Oh, yeah. So that particular one, since people love Darth Maul stuff, that bumped the price of it up because people buy it just because it's Darth Maul.
It is more expensive than the others simply because.
And then trying to find the game books.
Popular character.
Oh, and then good luck finding the game books, because each and every one of those novels came with a separate, smaller game book.
Yes. And something to be aware of with these two is I was mainly after the actual stories, so I got some of the game books by accident when I was collecting them.
Nice, yeah.
But also for preservation, I would say for these books, and I haven't done it with the comics because the covers are a bit different, but I have put clear contact on them to help preserve them a bit better. Yeah. If it's something that you're actually collecting, you're gonna read, you're gonna keep it and not try to resell it, I think that'll help preserve the paperbacks a lot more.
Well, the game books didn't really lend much to the story. Not much at all, to be honest.
Not a whole lot, no.
But, they were still fun. There was also the Choose Your Own Adventure books, which I'm just wondering if I've got them here, because the problem is half my EU collection's here and half of it's out in the other room.
Yeah, I'm in a similar boat. I got some of my stuff not here. Oh, yeah, I've got them sitting right here. Some of the game books.
Oh, yeah.
So these ones, if you're visually watching, sorry, listeners. But you could have a look when you have a chance. Oh yeah, this is one of the ones from Star Wars Adventures. Is a separate series to Star Wars Episode 1 Adventures, but then also some of the Star Wars Episode 1 Adventures were reprinted in Star Wars Adventures for 2 or 3 of the books, I think, from memory.
That tracks.
In the meantime, I've got a dog on my way, so I'm going to sit over here now.
Yeah.
Miles away from the screen. Sorry, everyone. There's a dog in the way. Come on, Papa.
Yeah, so I don't think I bothered to bring down some of the Choose Your Own Adventure books at the moment to this place. So that's all right.
Fair enough. So for anyone who's wondering, it's those. And correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think I've ever seen these. So I'm in quite a few different collector groups on Facebook and quite a few book collector groups. I don't know if I've ever seen these for sale again.
I was thinking of mainly I've got the New Hope one, I think. Yeah. And I've got a couple of the Clone Wars ones.
Because I had really nice illustrations, which is, again, probably that 90s idea of this would be graphite, I guess, graphite illustrations. They were quite cool. Like, I love that kind of illustration style.
They look really good.
Nice.
So having that kind of, they're really, really beautiful little reads. They're a lot of fun. Clearly non-canonical. Very clearly.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, for most of these
things,
well, you take the part of Luke Skywalker's friend, so you're very much you're like Luke Skywalker too, and so you go through the adventures as his sidekick.
This is a good point to make while we're mentioning it. AB Books does not have any results for Star Wars Choose Your Own Adventure.
Yeah, so something like
very
that.
Hard to find.
Yeah. I don't want to be that person who just goes, but good luck. Good luck, I think, finding them, because again, they never got re-released in any form, and which is annoying for me in a way, because you tell people, oh, you should get into the EU, and then some of these things are so incredibly hard to find again.
But of course, we're talking about stuff that is quite obscure, really.
Oh yeah, I mean, if your EU adventure has already taken you through all the adult novels and all the comics, and then you find yourself down here trying to get like something like World on Fire, if you've gone that obscure, then you probably don't mind forking out whatever it costs to actually get that now. So but I was going to say the game books. I don't know if Cal touched on it.
I did show them.
Yeah, but I mean, basically, there is a little bit of extra story in there, but it's nothing that isn't covered. the overall story is covered in the actual adventures book. So unless you're going to play the games or you're a completionist, you don't really need the game books. They're just a bit of fun.
Yeah.
But no, you can go down rabbit holes for days.
Oh yeah.
Collecting all that stuff. Like, yeah.
And yeah, there's not many other options for figurines and things, is there, other than trying to look on secondhand markets?
Yeah, that's all you're gonna have. Or as I said, no, I go to those collector fairs and you find quite a lot there. Again, it comes down to affordability. So to roll back to these, by the way, these comic packs, the figures that come with them are incredible. Like for 3.75 figures, they're really, really detailed, lots of points of articulation. So any of these comic packs came with really good figs. But again, in terms of price, the prices are insane. Some of the more common ones, $30-$40, I guess, that'd be fine. There's some that I just don't have because they're like $700, $800, $900 now for a packet like that, just because they were a rarer print. So again, when it comes to figure collecting, I guess we're slowly moving into toy collecting now. Again, affordability.
Yeah, well, they've sort of been mentioned in and out a bit, so I was just thinking of if there was anything else to add to that.
Well, novels and comics, probably not. I was just going to touch on the fact you can get some rarities, like this particular one I just grabbed off the shelf then randomly. It's the one with blue Yoda in it. That's always exciting.
And there's also like a couple of different cover variations. Like Galaxy of Fear had some of those 3D ones where you look at it at a different angle. It's a different picture.
They were my favorites.
And those are really
good
cool.
Old blue Yoda. Good old blue Yoda. So yeah, so that got released. That was a very early release, and every subsequent reprinting had regular green Yoda. So again, if you're a completionist, yeah, it depends. I actually wish they'd done more of these.
The original puppet was supposed to be blue.
Yeah.
And then
and that's where that comes from, probably.
Yeah, well, they realized that they needed some blue screen stuff, and so that's why he's green.
Yeah. But no, all those kind of, I just love those old. I wish they'd made more. I really wish they'd made more of these little illustrated books because they're just so cute. And the stories, again, they'd be reprinted when they Cal in some of the omnibuses. I think these stories.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah.
I believe some of those would be.
Good old Han shooting Chewie in the back. There's a.
You know.
Yeah, which one was that called again? I can check on our friend Wikipedia.
Good old Wikipedia. Well, this one's World of Fire. That's probably the easier title to look for.
Yeah.
But I reckon that would have got reprinted later.
From memory, it has been. I mean, I could also look on my website and my timeline, but then he already got Wikipedia open. Collected in.
Right.
Star Wars Weekly, number 107. Star Wars 2, World of Fire.
Yeah.
Star Wars Omnibus Wild Space Volume 1. Star Wars The Original Marvel Years Omnibus Volume 3. Legends Epic Collection, The Original Marvel Years Volume 2. And then apparently there's a Marvel UK Collection Omnibus as well.
Fantastic. Okay, so yeah, so that's the thing that you got to look up. But in that case, that did get a lot of reprints, so that's nice.
Yeah.
That's good to know. That's very good to know. Not everything got that.
I think one benefit of them reprinting the comics a bit more recently is that there's some of them that, and I was looking, I couldn't find them separately, but I got the digital copies of some of the reprints, and I had the stories in there that I read when I was reading through the comics, which is good.
Yeah. Oh, that's it. Yeah. No, I don't know. It's just one of those things that once you go down that rabbit hole, last episode we were on, how many comics did you even say there were, Cal? Like, I think you looked up, there's like 800-900
There
issues.
was someone that said there was 760 something comics, but at one point I'll do a count when I'm enthused.
Yeah,
go through my timeline.
The thing is, though, is even if you assume the ludicrous idea that that's going to cost you $1 a comic, you're still out of pocket a fair amount if you're buying them physically. And of course, it's not going to be $1 comic. It's going to be
there's there's like 307 novels, including the young readers ones.
Yeah,
which I do have on Goodreads. So unless I've missed adding one in the want to read and add it to the shelf thing, that's accurate.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all a bit of fun trying to collect this stuff.
It is.
It is a difficult collection to come together, but it is ultimately, if you can collect full completed series, it's always worth it.
Yeah, sometimes eBay has lots of people selling a full series of something, and that's always worth it.
Yeah,
generally.
and here's the thing: you cannot sleep on that.
No,
because it'll be
gotta
gone.
get it right away.
And then you also, and this is going to be collecting across the board, and clearly, again, not just Star Wars, you keep hearing those stories of people that go to a garage sale, and there'll be someone who just says, "Oh, I don't know, it's just my son's old books, I don't know, $2 for the box," and it's like a whole EU collection in a box sort of thing.
My parents found a stack of Star Wars comics for like $50, and there was a whole heap of them.
Yeah.
Single issues, but it's like cool. Some of them were complete, some of them not, but it's still really good.
Yeah, and again, you can find some stuff if you frequent Comic Cons and other things like that. You'd be surprised because, like I said, I got my Splendor of the Mind's Eye. I got them very reasonable. I think they were like $3 a piece. I was shocked.
Nice, actually. Yeah.
And I
was
think
like, whoa.
Some of the depends what stall it is at those, or maybe it's a bit different over there compared to here. Because some of them,
it does
stuff
depend.
like Comic Cons and Supernova and that do cost still a bit more. But that's also probably from people that know how much it's worth.
Right. I mean, it depends on the comic book store or entity that is selling at the convention. It really does depend. But, you'd be surprised at, like, some are just selling things at lower prices simply because it's like we've got extra stock and we need to get it out of here. And a Comic-Con's a good place because people are going to buy shit.
Yeah. And I think I found when I went to Supernova there was a bunch of older Star Wars comics that I went, oh cool, I don't have this one after checking my huge list.
Yeah.
It's always like, oh well, the way I've done it, if it helps anyone, is I copied and pasted my timeline and deleted it into a separate document. I usually use Google Docs because I can look at it on my phone. And I just word search it, and then once I buy it, I delete it off of the list. And so I know, okay, I don't need that one type thing.
And then to go back on the previous point, although it doesn't illustrate it very well, I just dragged out a random legacy comic. And like Cal said, sometimes there was concept art in there, so that's nice. There's
concept art is really good in those comics. That's really nice.
And there is also a letters to the editor section, although in this particular case, I don't think anyone's actually addressing Star Wars. So this is a terrible example, but quite often they would. Just trust me on that. Quite often they would.
It's a strange little
this
bit
Dark
there.
Horse
Not
trade
even discussing
paper.
Star Wars.
Yeah, that's a terrible example.
Oh yeah, I don't even know why they popped that in there. I just looked at the questions and went, yeah, they're not Star Wars questions.
And so this trade paperback has a timeline of Star Wars graphic novels in the back of it, which is also something that would not be in the single issues.
Well, I was going to say, I haven't seen that in these singles, so look at that. Oh,
but then also they don't have the letters to the editors or the concept art for these Dark Horse trade paperbacks.
That's the drawback to the trade paperbacks,
And it has a big thing on the front, beginning 125 years after Return of the Jedi.
Ooh. Just in case you didn't know.
Yep, need to specify.
Oh, yeah.
Because this is volume 1,
Oh, and then, of course, there was those random ones, which is like Legacy 0 and 1/2. Yeah, that's numerical. But I think that got collected in the omnibus, so that's okay. No, in general...
They did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's probably... Again, I think I might need to do a deep dive video on all the comic collecting, because it is one of those things that once you start...
It's probably one of the more complex ones out of the Star Wars ones, and there's... Especially because it involves writing, art, colouring, all of that. There's many reprints.
Oh yeah. Good luck with that one, everybody.
Yeah.
So,
which again, I guess it does bring us to toys because the toy lines again is. I love that the EU got so many toys. It's just a huge amount. So
yeah, I think the main thing to touch on would be if you know anywhere that you'd actually be able to see what toys exist out there.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think
that's a bit
what
harder.
Someone would
Hasbro's
start
website.
from.
Hasbro's website can be used to find a lot of them.
Yep.
I will say for Lego, sadly, there's not a whole lot of EU. There's the Rogue Shadow.
Yep.
And then there were a couple of Star Wars: The Old Republic sets.
Well, I'm going to go to my brick set account because I had them all, and I can't remember what their names were. So I'm just going to quickly go there and go, yep, because they're all in that room.
Because it'd be nice if there's a master list, even if you guys pull one together and I can chuck it on the website or something afterwards.
Well, see, I wouldn't mind rebuilding my EU sets and then just putting them out there as to what there was. So I have cheated. I've just gone over to my brick set account instead. So Rogue Shadow, Imperial V-Wing. So there was Republic class Starfighter, Fury class Interceptor, Republic Troopers versus Sith Troopers. So that was like a little pack. Just kind of fun. Jet 14 Stealth Starfighter, and there was like 3 different variants on that one. The Jedi Defender class cruiser, which Star Wars Death Troopers I think had Dark Troopers in it. And so there's definitely a few, although I'm just scrolling down through the rest of my collection, and I'm starting to run dry, everybody. So yeah, it's about 6 or 7. No, 6 or 7 expanded universe sets.
And I think you mentioned earlier about custom figures and getting some of those as well.
You can find those online.
Yep.
Yeah. If anyone wants to reach out to me, you can find me on Discord in the Callum's Cantina channel. You just tag me. And then additionally, you can probably send me a message through Instagram. I'm on there as J4X_V05. So at least I think that's the right
sounds like
one.
it could be a droid name.
Droid. And I just picked what I have it on.
There's also 3 EU Lego sets that I'm missing. One was the Darth Revan polypack. One was Darth Maul with his chest tattoo. So there's a Darth Maul, and then the TIE Crawler. So I actually never got a TIE Crawler, which I probably should.
Sorry, no, it is Sorry, my Instagram is the Jax Voss or Jax V05. That's what it is.
Nice.
I'm thinking of my. I think that might be my Reddit.
Or if you comment, on the YouTube or Spotify, then we don't have that many comments at the moment, so I'll probably just point him towards the comment.
Be the one comment.
Yeah, he can also direct me to the comments. That's no problem. I might even see them just because I randomly check out these videos.
Nice. But I think the fact that the expanded universe got Lego sets at all was pretty tremendous.
It speaks a lot.
It speaks to a lot. Yeah. Because we did have the revenue poly bag. We do have very recently in the R2D2 set, the large R2D2 set, we did get Darth Malak,
which made absolutely no sense to me.
Yeah, I was like, I appreciate the figure, but why is he with R2?
Yeah. Well, on top of that, there was a lot of choices. Well, on top of that, there's a lot of fans of R2D2 that have no idea who Malak is. Yeah, so there's that to consider. So there's people who are buying this R2 set saying, "Who is this?" And on the flip side, a lot of people who probably want Malak just as a figure, and wouldn't be too interested in buying an entire R2D2, which is quite a large build just to get that figure. So it was a weird pairing, but
But hey, it works for introducing some people to the EU if they go, "Oh, who's this?" and look it up.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. So certainly one way to do it. But Yeah, I don't know. I think my
what a
first
world!
introduction.
I found the expanded universe through an R2D2 Lego set.
Hey, there's multiple points of
Hey,
entry.
surprise.
Yeah.
Yep. I think my first introduction to EU toys was when Shadows of the Empire came out. Because there had been some before that, although my brain is currently trying to work out what they were, and I'm not coming across many. But Shadows of the Empire was the first big drop for me because I, as a younger guy, as a kid, I was trying to work out if there was a movie coming out or not. Because this is obviously largely pre-internet. And suddenly I go into a toy store and there's figures for something called Shadows of the Empire. There's Micro Machines, something called Shadows of the Empire. There's like whole toys, like whole vehicles for Shadows of the Empire, and obviously collector cards and comics. And is there a movie that I've missed? Because it felt like a movie release. There was just that much merch.
Yeah, it pretty much was, except there wasn't a movie.
Yeah, just missing the movie. And but that did unlock a whole bunch of figures that we've gotten since for other EU releases.
I think there were a few earlier ones from looking in Star Wars Insider. There was some advertisements in some of the pages and things for some early EU ones. I'd have to go through because I don't remember which ones they were off the top of my head. But
I'm just trying to go through my shelf and just think.
but
yeah,
I think there was some bundled in that Kenner did as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think those are the main ones.
There's always Jedi business, and I know they've changed their name now to something else like Galactic Figures or whatever. They'll always be Jedi business to me. And that has an EU tab, which, galacticfigures.com they're called now.
Yeah, it comes on the third result when I put in Jedi business. Tickets to Melbourne Museum. Oh, it's an ad.
Oh, that's what you want. Yeah,
Millennium Falcon Star Wars on eBay. I didn't put Millennium Falcon in. I put Jedi business. What are you talking about?
Isn't it fun? But yeah, I'm pretty sure there we should be able to search by expanded universe, and that does come up with a lot. But there's been a lot over the years. They've just kind of released some. Even this year, I think there's about 8 or so different expanded universe figures that have been released, which is always nice to have.
Yeah.
I'll have a quick quiz here.
The toy lines. End of the day, it's just going to be what you're interested in.
That's right. There was some. I have a Jane and Jason from early stuff. The Power of the Force pack seems to be. I've got to see what year they released. 1998. They had a Thrawn, Mara Jade. They had a Dark Trooper in there. Dark Empire, Leia, and Palpatine and stuff.
They brought out a lot of different packs. There was like a Mandalorian battle pack that had a whole bunch of Mandos in it.
Oh yeah, the old Kyle Katarn figure.
Kyle Katarn. And then the comic packs is where it really exploded. You get all kinds of different figures from the comic packs. So that was they were exceptional.
You would get a lot of them. I remember they were doing I remember at one point when I was going through when Legacy the comics were coming out, I remember I remember one of the ads that I saw was for like it was like you would have like a cup, you would get they were selling like 2 figures from 2 different time periods. Like they had Mandalore, the Indomitable, I think.
Yes. Yeah, I know the one you mean now. Yeah, I know the one you mean now. Yeah.
Which I was like, oh, that's cool. And I had no idea at the time who Mandalore the Indomitable was. No clue.
It was actually really cool. It was a really cool figure, that one. And I think my figure's actually missing a part. There was like a little belt sashy thing, I think, from memory that I'm missing. So that's annoying. If anyone's got one of those, post it to me.
Jeff loves TCW, so most merch you can send him, just do it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Send me all your Ahsoka figures. I don't own one, so send those. Yeah.
Oh,
no, again, it's probably something I'll have to go through my shelves because look, Dark Empire got figures, Crimson Empire got figures. The comic packs, as I said, introduced a lot of different figures from the EU into the toy lines. Yeah, and then even most recently, actually, there was a really recent Heir to the Empire pack which I loved. So which I'm tempted to run and grab because because I can.
That was a good grouping. I obviously didn't get it. I don't collect figures, though I regret some of the ones I let go when I was selling. When I sold all of mine at a garage sale, and then I also regret some I never bought.
Well, fair enough. Yeah,
like the original Ventress figures.
Oh, what? Yep.
Yeah, that's a regret.
Yeah. Why would you do that?
Well, I never bought them. That's what it is. I never bought them. And like I got the Clone War, the original Clone Wars Anakin that was based off of the video game.
Mm-hmm.
And they had the video game Ventress right next to him at Walmart when I was there, and I wanted Anakin, but I also wanted Ventress. But at the time, my mom would only let me buy one figure at a time, and I regret not getting Ventress.
And not to interlude there, but I just did a quick count. I've lost my count. There was 36 figures just for the Force Unleashed alone. So,
oh yeah, it was a good one.
The only one I've actually got at hand is one of the militia. Strangely enough, so I've got a little militia trooper. Force Unleashed
from Ram Koda's militia.
Yeah, so I've got him just randomly lying here. But I do have the Rancor over there behind me as well. So the Felucia Rancor with this rider.
Ow.
So yeah, so
that's
kind
cool.
of fun. But yeah, hello. Yeah, well, I mean that's the thing. Actually, some of those EU figures got really intense. Like that Rancor.
Oh, they did.
Absolutely huge. I mean, I could
life-size Rancor in the backyard. Yeah.
That would be nice. That would be. I would accept.
It would be very cool.
I would definitely accept.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, as I mean, as I said, with figures, I could run back and forth all day and just grab some packs. Or that enormous Rancor. But
we know you can flex.
No, that's why I'm like, I'll leave it over there for another video where we do deep dives in particular.
I think that's one where you'd also want people to see the video more as well.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like this kind of is a bit visual based, but we're managing to name things and explain enough. But yeah.
And then the same thing too, as you mentioned previously with micro machines. And again, I just dragged one packet in because it's still sealed. A lot of my micro machines actually weren't. But yeah, that's the Shadows of the Empire micro machine. So again, Shadows of the Empire just released a whole bunch of new toy lines. Well, actually, I guess there we go. A whole bunch of new toy lines that were all based solely on that's a favorite. The Outrider. So micro machines also really, really well worth collecting for just for some really fun vehicles that you wouldn't get otherwise. I mean, the Outrider did get, and again, I'm not going to go flex, but the Outrider got a full-sized vehicle as well. But yeah, micro machines, they're cute, they're fun, and they've disappeared largely from the public view. I don't know why. Yeah, sad. They were a great toy line there at one point.
They were. I liked micro machines as a kid.
I don't think I ever had them, but it is sad that some things die off like that and have their own uniqueness to them, and they're replaced with. You see toys kids have these days, and you go,
It's not quite the same.
No.
Well, I was actually having this conversation with a work colleague, and this is a very small little tangent with a work colleague the other day that toys have gotten to the point where you can no longer have dedicated toy stores, or at least not in the same way you used to be able to. I know somebody who's going to say, "Oh, I've got a local toy store." It's like, yeah, but they're quite small. We used to have these big World for Kids, Toys R Us, these enormous like department stores. You couldn't see down the other end. The Star Wars section was like 3 or 4 whole entire aisles of just toys.
No.
And the market is such that it can't even support those kind of stores anymore. There's no need to have them because
Well, here's the thing. This is one of the drawbacks to the online availability as well, is that like it's kind of made it so that only the bigger stores can maintain. And then it's obviously you get small stores like Lego and other small things, but They don't like Toys R Us is like they still technically exist, but they don't like they're not nearly what they were, and like for the most part, they're inside of of Macy's in a small department nowadays.
Yeah, they've had to downsize quite a bit
because the sales simply aren't there.
So that does change the availability of some of the toys and stuff if you're looking at collecting.
Oh, hugely. Like I've got Star Wars Hot Wheels. That was a thing that's come out for a while. I got a Star Wars ATST from Hot Wheels, which
name it and it probably had something Star Wars.
Probably. I mean, it's getting to that point where
Pepsi had Star Wars. Had that. They had like a can thing for droids, which was interesting. They also had an R2D2 cooler.
Yep.
That you could where you could stick all the cans in and.
My parents got me an R2D2 coffee plunger for Christmas birthday.
Yeah, we got that in the kitchen.
Yeah,
that's a bit of fun. No, yeah, but even EU stuff was quite incredible to see what they could come up with. I'm just trying to think what else EU toys I've actually got. So Lego, Hot Wheels, Micro Machines, obviously the figures. Collector cards. I guess it does come into it quite a bit as well. If I don't know if we're going to do cards a separate thing, but
the cards
in a way.
The cards did give some more EU based stuff,
especially some more EU art, like the Topps cards and
yeah.
They
did.
I've managed to download a thing where I downloaded all of the images from like the Wizards of the Coast trading card game and all of that for the art of them.
Yep.
And I scrolled through Wikipedia and saved what I could from the original trading card game, but that didn't have as much unique art.
I know I've got some here. I like I just randomly reached one draw. I didn't even prepare this, but I've got something.
Fantasy Flight Games had a card game as well.
Yeah.
That one was more accessible to me, at least when I was building them, but I don't know how accessible they would be now if I had a look.
I don't know how expensive some of this stuff would be now.
But it's bad enough them reprinting some of the Fantasy Flight RPG books, because they've taken ages to reprint some of them. Some of them are covers from books as well that they use for the cards.
That one there's Jedi Principle things. That's a Glover Darth Vader.
Yeah, I noticed one of the Cranian Trilogy ones there.
Yeah, but somehow that got a cover, so that's cool. And then some absolutely ridiculous. Oh, hang on. Caravan of Courage. Anyone? Hang on, I'm going to put this down.
Yes, we haven't touched on.
Good old Caravan of Courage. Got some cards for that.
The way
and whatever's going on there.
I'm thinking of Caravan of Courage. The way to collect the holiday special is to download it somewhere.
Yes.
Yeah. If you're crazy enough to get that.
Well, see, that's actually a good point because I don't know, did Ewoks and Droids ever actually get a proper DVD release?
I don't think they ever got a full proper DVD release. They got movies.
Not where you got the entire thing.
They had the movie ones where they put some episodes together, but they never had the full seasons released on DVD.
So that sadly has to be a download too. Luckily, some absolute wild card uploaded them all to YouTube. I don't know who that was, but whoever that guy was.
I think one of them got taken down as well for copyright, but then the rest are up. So it's really random, whoever that wildcard guy is.
Whoever that was. I don't know who that was. Yeah.
And then also, if they're also available on Disney Plus, but that's still gonna be temporary whenever streaming services eventually just change and shut down.
Yeah.
So I will say you can watch, at least currently, The Faithful Wookiee on Disney Plus, which is part of the holiday special. The best part, actually.
The first appearance of Boba Fett.
Yes.
I think some people have made some bootleg DVDs of it or whatever, but not official ones.
Oh yeah, you're gonna find bootleg DVDs of all sorts of stuff.
I forget if I've seen DVDs of the Ewok movies? that aren't bootleg.
Yeah. I'm sure mine's not bootleg. Hang on, is mine a bootleg?
That's right, I forgot. Because sometimes
sure
you
I've
get
got
the
the physical
bootleg
copy.
ones so that you have a physical copy.
But I'm pretty sure my physical copies were legitimate. Are you telling me they're not? I thought they were.
The film was released on DVD as a double feature collection with a sequel,
Yeah.
Ewoks Battle for Endor. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, that's the one I've got. Yeah. Yeah, the 2-in-1. Which again, I don't know how affordable that would be these days to track down, but yeah, that's a DVD. I was going to say that DVD was definitely not a bootleg. I bought that in the shop. That was not a.
That'll run you. Why did it change to US? $48 on eBay.
It's not
really
DVD.
That's not as bad as I was thinking. It was
$34.45 US.
For a Star Wars print that's been out of print for a decade or two, that's actually quite alright.
That is, yeah.
Hmm.
There's some that are more, but that's the cheapest one that first came up.
Yeah. Well, if you're lucky, it's not scratched.
Yeah. And there are ways of fixing, but there's only so much you can do.
Yeah.
Well, it says new in the title. We know we can trust that on eBay.
Oh yeah, it's definitely new then. Don't worry about it.
Oh, the pictures do have the plastic wrap around it too.
So it's new. It's actually new.
Huh.
I mean, they could have just put shrink wrap around an old copy. Yeah, so I think we've covered the toys because figures.
Yeah,
Lego,
I think if we've covered the toys and we cover the couple of EU movies and things.
Yeah.
There's not too much else that I can think of.
Not really.
The cards.
No.
I think Topps had those book collections of the art from the cards.
Yes, they did.
Which is worth mentioning.
And then one of the since I do just buy anything with Star Wars EU relations, I've never got the models, like those Rebel model sort of things. I know they're not all Rebel, but that's like an example of the ones where you actually got to glue together the kits, the model kits. Never bought one of those, but I know they came with them. There were some EU kits as well for those. So that's probably worth mentioning as something people can look up in their own time if they're interested. But yeah, I know they happened.
Yeah, Shea Vista has at least a lot of popularity for not much screen time, really.
She really didn't get the screen time she deserved.
And she also was one of the only EU figures to get a proper re-release. So I find that unusual as well, that so many EU figures got released once and that was it. But Shea was, I think, 2007 or so, and then was re-released about 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah, I think I got her when she was re-released. And then also Jaina Solo was a special case of the last time they actually ran the fan polls properly.
Yeah. Although, mind you, I do wish that the previous Jason and Jaina got re-released because they are insane on the second-hand market.
They already have the molds and things, surely.
Jason and Jaina, period.
Yeah.
Like they need more figures, especially like they have been voted on multiple times for they voted for Jason and Jaina and Darth Kaitis for the Black Series multiple times, and they're usually one of the top ones that are just shy of making.
Yeah.
It's very frustrating.
And then they go, all of them are pole botting. Well, we're not going to do that.
Yeah. But it is crazy, though, because when I think of some EU figures, I think Thrawn's been done about 4 or 5 times now. Starkiller's been done probably like 10 times, but he's got different costumes, obviously. But
well, right. 10, that's why.
Yeah, 10 or so different figures for him, and yet someone like Jason Jaina only got, well, she got 2, he got 1.
Yeah. And he didn't even get a very good one.
No, and then we've never had Ben at all.
No, we never got Ben. He was also on at least one Black Series voting list that I was on.
I think he was
really aggravated me. They had Cade in that list as well. That made me mad.
But I think that was the year after Jaina. I'm pretty sure after the success of Jaina Solo getting through, the next year was Ben that they tried to get through.
It was, and that's when they started going, "Oh no, these are false. We're going to not make that now because everyone was doing multiple votes on it."
Yeah,
and whatever.
Yeah, we had a few, but I will be honest, I don't think it was that many people who were doubling up.
No, not that it should affect it that much.
Yeah. No. There's no way. Ben was not that popular of a character that people would be doubling up that much. No.
Yeah.
People would be voting for him, absolutely. He's popular. And like what aggravated me was that they put Cade in that same line, and like I knew we would only get one of those two, so that made me mad.
And then we didn't get either, and it's even more mad.
Yeah, we didn't get a single EU one for that run because Ben was the only one, and then
they decided to make the second on the poll rather than the first one. Anyway,
I'm trying to think. I don't think there was any other toy lines that are of particular note. There'd definitely be some more. And as I was just saying too, Cal, when you went around the back of your green screen, as I was just saying too, we probably should just do dedicated videos, like one video just on EU Micro Machines, one just on EU figures, one just on EU Lego. I will dredge out my EU Lego sets and just have them here for that.
That'd be good, because I don't know as much about the in-depth stuff, so I can do the layperson questions.
Yay! Yeah, no, because those sets are actually really, really good. I like them. I like the figures.
I have some of the older ones, but I think in the end they all just got mixed in with all the other Lego.
Yeah, fair enough.
Because that's what happens as a kid.
I mean, seriously, like I'll break out my customs for that as well, just to kind of show because some obviously I bought, others I actually took the time to kind of make.
Yeah,
which is kind of fun. So you get different ways of doing different things.
Yeah, I think that covers things reasonably well for the time that we'd have for the podcast episode.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can
Which is
number
good.
these. Of course, they're gonna be. All of the answers got a number as well.
I just thought the comic collecting one alone would have to be like 3-episode thing, but anyway.
Yeah, it'd be a lot, so I'd probably do it if I see people express interest.
Yeah.
Yeah. We didn't go on too many tangents.
No, that was pretty good.
Well, the whole episode was a tangent. That's why. The whole episode
I mean,
the whole thing of collecting is there's all these different areas that.
Yeah,
but that's usually what tangents are. Because usually we're discussing one. We'll be discussing one part of the EU, and then I'll say something like, "Oh, I've got a figure of that," or "I've got some Lego of that," and then we just go on the tangent. This time we just started by discussing the toys.
Yeah,
and there was no way I was going to pick up a toy and just go, "Oh, I've got a book of that. I've got the comic of that." Like it's just so we started on the tangent. It was much safer that way. Much safer.
Yeah.
Cool. Huge thanks for hanging out at the brightest center in the galaxy. If you want to hear more, make sure to follow on the platform of your preference. I'm your host, Callum, and this has been the Callum's Cantina podcast. And remember, the films are just the beginning. The expanded universe is where the galaxy truly grows into its own. So see you next time when you visit the Cantina.